Hello, this video is a review of the research project. I'll be talking about the different parts of the research project and the requirements of the project for Composition 2. In addition, I'll be toggling back and forth between an example paper, and I'll show you where that is. But to begin, I want to discuss the purpose of the research project. Your purpose is to explore this issue that interests or affects you. We've already started looking at issues. And there are research tools out there to help you find other issues, but I really am interested in something that you care about because you're stuck with this topic for quite a while. I hate to say stuck, but you'll have this topic for quite a while. You're going to provide in this paper a necessary background information about the issue, a survey of the research about the issue. So you're providing a list of sources and discussing why they are good and bad. You're going to analyze the arguments surrounding the issue and provide a thorough explanation and evaluation of this issue. And then you'll end the paper by making a call to action regarding the issue. So I'm going to quickly toggle out to where an example is, and I'll show you how we find that. In Blackboard, you'll see major writing assignments. You can click on this, and down here it says the research project. In here, you'll see two sample research projects that were written by students. And I don't know which one I've clicked on, but you'll see one for school vouchers. And you will be able to scroll through this paper. You'll see that it's actually quite long. I think this paper is roughly, let me just zoom down just a little bit, just over 14 pages long, which is not terribly lengthy, but it's a good amount of work. And you'll see it's broken up into different sections. So we'll be looking at this, but we'll go back to this. We're going to talk about selecting a topic a little bit more, and then I'll break down the 5 areas of writing that we'll be doing. So we've already looked at the purpose. First thing, of course, is to select a topic. You'll use the class activities, hopefully you're already working on them, to find a topic that interests you. Right now, I want you to have multiple topics, broad topics, things that can be discussed and debated with friends and family and classmates. You'll begin by doing some very basic research. I want you to read just tiny things about it, what's interesting, what do you see as the topic having potential. You are not locked into your topic just yet. You're going to begin to narrow that topic down, find something that is interesting or something that affects you. Pick something that is broad. Don't select a topic on which you have a strong opinion or some sort of a very strong stance about. It's tempting because you might say, well, I want to prove this, and you're already going in this topic with blinders on, and it's not going to lead to a good paper. You do want to select a topic that you can stand researching for several months. You're going to be reading about this and breathing and eating and sleeping. Well, probably not, but doing all that with your topic. So the first section of your paper is going to be this topic overview. This will be the first part of the paper, the first thing that readers will see. It gives general information about the topic and general information about the scope of the project, the type of research completed, and leads readers to a call to action. So in this example, we can see the topic is school vouchers. It's a very boring title, but it says topic overview. It's only a page long. Your topic overview should probably not be more than 2 pages. It's a summary. It talks about, okay, well, school vouchers, here's the basic idea, here's what they're intended to do, and here's how they're actually working. However, this paper is going to kind of look at that's not exactly the case. Vouchers seem to not be doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it leads us to the next topic, which is the literature review. Review of literature, or literature review, provides readers with a list of important sources. You don't have to include every single source, but you should look at the major sources, especially the ones that you refer to a lot. The longer works, you're basically providing a brief summary of these sources and show how these sources shape the debate around the topic. It talks about the different types of research and the conversations, and shows a balance of resources you've used to come up with a conclusion about your argument and your call to action. So basically, this is kind of a way for you to demonstrate the thoroughness of your research the different things that you've considered. So the idea is it's just a list of various sources. It's not, it's kind of your annotated bibliography in a way. That's really what I want you to think about it. You're providing a couple hundred words saying, hey, here's the value of this article. Here's the value of this article. This one says something good but is biased. Here's another source that isn't biased but doesn't have a lot of information. So you're just going through your different sources, and this can take some time. You don't have to include every source, but the major sources. Or you might even want to include a source that you decided, okay, this one doesn't work, and here is why. This might be considered a good source. It comes up all the time when doing the research. However, it is not good for these reasons because it doesn't go into broad enough in depth about the topic. It's too old. It's not current, or whatever reasons you can think of. The idea is you are providing some basic information about your source so we as readers can see the bigger picture on your topic. The next section is the editorial analysis. The editorial analysis is a simpler part of the paper. It's really just a separate paper on its own that I've worked in. But what this asks you to do is compare and contrast two opposing views about the issue within your topic. So you need to find two opinionated pieces, editorials or whatever, that are arguing different things. And the SRS researcher, which I've already shown you in a previous video, in the library research, I'm sorry if you've not gotten to that yet, but it shows you where those editorial comparisons are. Similarly, you can go to like procon.org or opposing viewpoints, and those will also have opposing viewpoints, and I'll show you those somewhere at some other time. But your goal is to summarize these two pieces, then analyze and critique them. You'll conclude by drawing a conclusion about which view makes a better argument. Now here's the sticking point. It may not be the point that you agree with. And that's a difficult thing to wrap your head around. Someone might make a better argument that you can't rebut or defend, even though you think it's wrong. Just the information's not there. What this does, it shows a couple of things. First is looking at how people are talking about your topic. It shows the deeper conversations about your issue. Maybe the better argument is really just superficial, whereas there's not as much support for the view that you have. And that's okay. It allows you to demonstrate your knowledge of the issue by applying your research. So you can say things like, well, this person doesn't do this, or neither topic or neither editorial really gets into the depth of the issue, or they're both good or they're both bad. You have to draw some sort of conclusion about these two editorials. What this does, it helps focus your argument and look at how people are talking about the issue. So you can see that the editorial analysis will be about 1,000 words. This one mentions both of the two articles. It provides summaries. It uses terms like in contrast. Quoting from the articles will be good. Towards the end, although this author believes this, right? The other person says that. But towards the end, and this is actually quite long, which is good. Let me find it. Towards the end, it says they provide opposing viewpoints. Overall, this author does a better job providing supportive information. So that's the reason why this argument is stronger, because there's better research, right? And so that can help you understand your point of view. It might actually convince you to think differently about the topic. The fourth section and the longest section is going to be the research argument. It's the bulk of your research project. It establishes the main ideas of your issues and then provides background information, because you always have to provide background information. Where does the issue start? What originated it? What have other people said? You're going to address these issues, and you're going to evaluate and analyze the claims made about this topic. That's going to lead you to make your own stance. So we don't just come up with our own perspective, and that's a challenge with these persuasive type papers, is that often we start with what we want to persuade people to think or do rather than build into it. And I really want you to become an expert on the topic and say, here's what we should do based on what I know, rather than saying, here's what I want you to know and do, and here's my support for it. So it's working a little bit differently. You're supporting your stance through research and reasoning, and it's going to lead to your last segment, which is the call to action. So you'll see here we are beginning the research paper at the end of page 7. It's going to go for a good while. We have citations, a lot of it from a singular source, which is the editorial. So it's good to do your editorial analysis because it gives you some good information, but you want to build on that. Additional sources, quotations, and comes up with a good conclusion. Seems beneficial, however, it's not. And then it leads to this call to action. After this research, it's evident that school vouchers do not provide added value. Therefore, we should end the program, basically. And that's where this goes. It draws on support. The call to action is this last part. It's the final piece of your paper. What should we do? Maybe it's readers should change a habit. There should be a change in mindset. Don't judge a book before a cover sort of deal. Or calls for supporting a political or societal change. The example I've shown you calls for a political change. So you're making recommendations on this call to action. It's based on research and provides thorough support about why this call to action is the best call to action. You just can't say, well, we see that X doesn't work, we should stop doing X. Well, why? What are the variables? Why doesn't X work here and it does somewhere else? So those will be interesting things for you to look at. The last part is going to be your works cited. You have to have a works cited. It lists all the sources used to write your project. It's arranged in alphabetical order by the author's last name. Demonstrates the thoroughness of your research and allows readers to find the sources themselves. Contains a variety of academic and professional sources. Those are important things. So we're not just having, 25 Google articles or 3 YouTube videos or whatever. They have to come from a variety of sources that demonstrate your credibility as a researcher. And we'll see that in here. So we see Washington Monthly, Academic Search. So a lot from Academic Search, which is great. No Wikipedia in here because it's just not a great source. It's good for compiling information, but that's about it. So you can read through this or the other example. These are both fairly decent. They provide some good information and good models for your paper. But overall, your research project is something that we're going to be working on through the rest of the course in addition to beginning our book review. So give it thought, take it seriously, and make sure that you are actually researching something you want to research. Good luck. Contact me if you have questions.